Welcome to part 3 of our discussion of searching and critical appraisal of evidence-based literature. So first off, what do we mean by critical appraisal? The definition of critical appraisal is the evaluation of the evidence for its validity or bias, usefulness and relevance in clinical practice through the scrutiny of the literature. So one thing you want to consider when looking at the literature is distinguishing perhaps good science from bad science. And how does one do that? Well, first off, using your judgment or knowledge you gain in classes like this, or through reading articles and information by authors such as Ben Goldacre, the website Retraction Watch, books such as How to Read a Paper by Tricia Greenhalgh, and handouts like in your course shell here of Anatomy of a Research article. Gathering as much information as you can about studies and how to assess methodologies, sample sizes, bias, and other parameters will help you make a good judgment when looking at the literature. Websites like Retraction Watch report on studies that maybe were published with poorly developed methodologies, poor data that may not be able to be repeated, are listed in their on their website on a daily basis. Websites that look like perhaps governmental or scientific may also be suspect if they have South Park advertisements or the need for credit cards. Oftentimes they might appear like they have some credible links to governmental agencies, but by looking closer at this website, for example, we can see that dihydrogen monoxide research division is really referring to water. And by looking at some of the information here, we can see that maybe this is a spoof website. Even articles that are published or indexed in reputable databases like PubMed may look suspicious if their design methodologies are all over the place as far as what criteria they're using in their methodology, or if they appear not to have any controls in place to make this a reputable study. So overall, you want to ask questions when you receive your results from your search. You might be filling out a critical appraisal worksheet that's given to you by your instructor, or in general, you may just want to ask some overall questions. So in looking at journal articles, who wrote the journal article? Who sponsors it? Is their funding source coming from somebody who wouldn't be biased? What's the purpose, and is the topic worthwhile? Is the study design explained clearly? Do the authors cite reputable studies and have more recent references? Are there consistencies or limitations in the study, and are they explained? In websites, you might also want to look at where people are linking their information from. How do they select it? Do they have selection criteria for their website? Is it current? Is the website up to date? And is the website collecting information about you and why? So some things you might want to look at first is what type of study are you looking at? Is it a quantitative study or a qualitative study? Listed here are the different types of quantitative and qualitative studies, where quantitative looks at more numerical data. A qualitative looks at more observational or interview types of data, what people feel or observe. There's also types of studies related to therapy, cause, diagnosis, prognosis, quality improvement, and economic evaluation. When you're looking at critical appraisal criteria or worksheets, you may find different questions and different criteria for each type of study. So what to look for when you're reviewing different types of articles? For that, we'll go to part 4.